Welcome back, Stassa 23 here, back again with some knife therapy, and today I'm going to go through my knife maintenance kit, everything that I use and things that I used to use, or budget options to some of these things. First off, we get started are my bits and my bit drivers. Bit driver is not so much important. You can use just about any bit driver depending on what size bit it takes. But I'm going to show you what I love about this. I like the nice drivers. It just I take apart a lot of knives, so I like it to be fast and efficient. And we'll start over here. Right here is a bit driver. It's a titanium bit driver from Audacious Concepts of Finland. This is the Anzo knife tool. I just think it's a good looking driver. It's got some nice weight to it. Spinny bearing up here on top. And the reason why I like these, because you can put them in your palm like this and just spin it. You can I do like this, spin it like that to get the Torx head out. Takes 1/4 inch drivers, and to me the most important thing is if you got nice knives and you want to try not to strip screws and stuff like that, get quality bits. I use Wiha bits on everything. Wiha, W-I-H-A. They make hardened bits, and they don't tend to strip out as easy or, bend and curl. I use Wiha and Wera, W-E-R-A. Both of those, they're European companies. They make some of the best bit drivers, in my opinion. I've tried all of them. And then to the side of that, we have another Audacious Concepts. This is their V4 driver. I like this one because of the little, like that. It's a lot lighter than this one, just depending on what I'm doing. This one's great. This one right here came in at $80, kind of pricey for what it is. This one right here came in at $75, and it came with a set of Wiha bits. It was in a little tube, something like this, or no, it was like this, in a little tube. This goes into that, actually. So I think that was a good little deal. And at Blade Show last year, I picked up this hard case. This was also from Audacious Concepts. I think it was like 25 bucks. It's the airtight case. This case was actually made in the U.S. Keep this one in my garage when I do my stuff. It came with this 3D printed set. And it doesn't come with the drivers or any of this. It just comes as, the case. You buy the driver separately. Love this little driver as well. Another Audacious Concept driver. This is titanium. Came in at $85. Now, expensive if you compare it to this one that is $80, But I will say, this right here, as long as I don't have to put a lot of torque on it, this is probably one of my favorites because I don't have huge hands. And it sits perfect right here in the palm, and I can spin this one faster than any of the other ones, so just makes it a lot quicker. And then I have a whole bunch of Wiha bits in here as well. It's airtight, so I don't have to worry about those bits rusting in my garage. And then this is what I started with. These are all fine. This is actually a Wiha tool driver. It comes with little micro bits, as you can see, but I find these, you can see how this bit is starting to twist. I find that the 1/4 inch drive bits work a lot better. I couldn't find these. You can get the big set for like 47 bucks. Pretty much anything Wiha makes is good. Now, I used to buy these a lot. If you have a higher end knife, I would recommend staying away from these because, you can see, look at that. See how bad it twists? These are not heat treated. And if they are, they're not done that well. These are good, inexpensive, option. I think these are like $5. You get them from Home Depot, the Husky drivers. I have one of these in my car, and that's for an emergency. I'm very careful when I'm using these because you can easily strip out a head. This one is a lot worse. This is a Cobalt, same type as that. But anytime you see these chrome plated, they're usually junk, from my experience. This one was from the dollar store, and I just replaced it with Wiha micro bits. This one used to be my heavy torque driver. It works great. But now if I'm going to be using a lot of torque and I have to break something, this Wera ratchet driver, you got to be careful though. This thing, I can get so much torque on here. I've snapped a couple of heads on some pivot screws. So you got to be careful. You don't want to put that much pressure, but this one has a lot of weight toward the head, and these grips right here, I can really grab a hold to it. But this one's going to run you $51. A good budget option for your heavy torque stuff is the Weha stubby driver, 1/4-inch driver. You can get it with bits like this in the inside for $20, or you can get it without the bits, just the driver, for $16. I think this is an excellent buy, especially for those heavy torque situations, because you got these little points right here, and that bulbous end really allows you to put some torque on it. Not as much as this one, because you have, you know, a bigger shaft on that. Those are some of my favorites. If you want a good option for a more budget-friendly titanium driver like this that I enjoy a lot, is this. I got this from Countycom. This one is the TPSK Gen 2. It comes with this titanium driver. It's got the spin head on it, and it comes with a set of bits that are pretty good, all for $35. I don't think you can beat that for the titanium driver. You can get heavy torque back here, and then you can do your little spinning up here in the front. It's a good little driver. I've been enjoying it since I've gotten it. And another one of my favorites besides these three are my driver from Combat Beads. This is the one made out of aluminum. They're out of Canada. I think I paid $85 for this one. It's a really nice, I like how thick this the end is. I can get a good bit of torque just like on this one, but this one's a little bit better in my opinion, and it's a little bit lighter. I couldn't find these available. You can get some of these. You can get the small titanium driver right now. You can get these two. You can get this one right now. You could always get these Huskies, but I would stay away from those. But that is my bit drivers. If you're gonna go the less expensive route, I would recommend this Klein tools. I think I got it from Home Depot. It was like 20-something bucks. It's got a nice this thing slides over case. It's got your security bits in there. This thing can extend or make it smaller. They're decent quality. I don't like them more than the Wehas, but if you're gonna buy a cheaper set, this one is not bad. All right, next thing. Sometimes whenever I get all the screws out, the stainless steel scales or titanium scales, it's hard to get them apart. And if I can't get them apart, there's a few things that I do. This little tube came with my Audacious Concept driver. You can get these, I think, on Amazon. This is probably one of my most used tools. You can see I've used this thing so much. This right here I got from Collector Knives. This is a GEC T-pop tool. This is to pop their tubes on the GEC knives. $5. It's a nice hard stainless little pry tool. You got a bottle opener, and what I like about it is how thin this spot is right here. Sometimes I use it to slide when I'm trying to get a washer knife in there, and the washer has slid over. I can sometimes push it back with that. But I use this all the time to separate scales, because I can get in between the blade and the scale with that very easily. For $5, it was an excellent buy. And if you are a slip joint guy, this part right here is, if you can't open your slip joint with the nail nick, you can use this, put that into the nail nick, and use it to open it. So cool little tool. I get more use out of it for all kinds of stuff. I always find stuff. You can see how banged up it is, and I've had it for a long time. That is a T-pop tool. And then if this is bending or starting to bend and it's not strong enough, this is a massively thick pry bar from Tucson. I don't know how much this one costs. I think it's like 35 bucks. You're not going to bend this one. It's very thick right there at the tip. I use this one a good bit as well. And another cheap option of this one is this Night Eyes Doohickey stainless steel little pry bar. But this one, I like how long this one is. I can get more leverage. This one's also $5, and you get a little ruler right here, carabiner, and some, whatever stuff I don't use, mainly that pry tip. And I always keep a set of decent tweezers, especially if I got something with bearings in it, and say a bearing pops out of the bearing race or it's got loose bearings. I use this to get my bearings up. Once I get a bearing knife out, if I'm trying to get all the old gunk out of it, I need to get that stainless steel race washer. I use a small magnet. Excellent. You just put it on that race washer to pop it out, because it's hard to get those things out once there's lubrication behind it. And then I don't know where I got this from. Oh yeah, it's a travel pick actually for your mouth. But if I need to clean some gunk out of a detent hole, that's what I use. Works pretty good. So there you go. That's what I use for my stuck on screws, stuck on scales, stuff like that. Once I have a knife completely apart, I want to clean it down. I want to get all the gunk out of it, all the old oil or grease, whatever they have in it. So first I will use a soft microfiber cloth. This is one from Civivi, one from WE. These are great so you don't scratch up your blade. Make sure these are clean. You don't want to have, if you have something like rough in there and you got to wipe it up, it's going to scratch your blade depending on, the blade steel and how that steel works. So I get the gunk off of one of these or a paper towel, and then I buy these I buy these off of Amazon. You can get 400 of these for like $5 or $6 off of Amazon. These are alcohol prep pads. I clean the pivot area, clean the bearings, depending on, or the washers. This is what I get all the old lube off of with. Or I have a spray bottle that I write on. I put rubbing alcohol in it, spray it down, and then wipe it with one of these clean. This is you can buy alcohol and spray bottles as well. And then to get any of the small spots, I use Q-tips around the bearing races. I'm kind of OCD about things inside the pivot area, the pivot. Anything that can get these, you can get Q-tips for super cheap as well. I always have a ton of these on hand as well. Once I got all the old lube and gunk off of it, I am going to put some new lube on there to lubricate the knife. I just grab one. They all work better. Some of them work better on different, some of them work better on washers. Some of them work better on Teflon. Some of them work better on bearings, but they all work pretty darn good. Some of the ones I use nano weight, nano oil, 10 weight for, just regular EDC knives. $17 for a, let's see, it's kind of expensive for what it is. What is it? 8 cc's, not much. And then you can get a bigger, this is the 85 weight, much thicker viscosity. These are $26. That's pretty expensive as well. All these smell funny. That's something I've noticed. I also use this Benchmade Blue Lube. I got it from a local shop. You can get this stuff for around $12.50. This works good. I found on washer knives and Teflon. I think I find it works good. You just got to be careful. You don't ever want to over lube. That can definitely slow down the action. I've tested it. And over here you have the knife pivot lube. This is the original, and this is the heavier weight. The heavier weights, like the 85 in this, I usually use it on my detent ball tracks. And this one on the regular pivot area. They both work about the same from what I've noticed. And so I don't over lubricate these KPL little swabs right here. What I do is I put the lube on the end of one of those, and I just kind of like brush it on there. I found that works so much better, so I'm not oozing out with lube later on, and that way your lube will last you a whole lot longer. Once I've had my lube on there, I like to put a corrosion inhibitor, and my go-to corrosion inhibitor is EDCI formula, the Aegis solution. You can get this bottle, I think let's see, where is it at? A 4-ounce bottle for, $12. You can spray this all over. It doesn't stink or anything. It works very well. any of my carbon steel or tool steel knives, anything that's not a stainless steel, I spray them down with this all the time. I live in the South, and that stuff works pretty darn good. On my fixed blades, I use this Frog Lube gun care stuff. It smells good. That's basically why I use it. It works well as well also. But this is $18. It is kind of thick, the viscosity on this. This is a lot thinner. You can see it's like more of like a liquidy. This is more like a pasty stuff. They both work good though. I find I use the EDCI more than anything. And then if I'm gonna try to keep say wood inlays on my Sabenzas, I use this Renaissance wax. Keep it on there. It'll preserve the wood. You can put this also as a corrosion inhibitor. This stuff's kind of expensive though for such a small little thing. It's $17.50. This stuff works really well. And then if I have a corrosion already on it, what I use to remove it is Flitz polish. I find Flitz, works really good. You just don't want to rub it in too hard. I just rub it just enough to get the rust spot out. If you keep going with it, you're gonna leave like a polished spot on there. You can get this, like a tube of this stuff, for $9, and it should last you a really long time. I've had this for years. All right, now your blades are ready to be put back together. If a knife already has the Loctite, I'm gonna add just a little bit to it, and I use this one more times than not. This is a Loctite thread locker stick. It's basically like a glue stick, and all I do is, you can see it on the edges. I'll just put a nice little strip, not much. Make sure you don't put too much of this on. And you can get this stick right here for $13. This is the 248 blue glue stick on Amazon. Very cheap. This will last you a lifetime too. This one was in my garage. This is from Permatex, medium strength thread locker blue gel. This is $6 for this tube. I prefer this one because this one, I don't know, it's just a little bit more messy, I find. And if the blue's not doing the trick, I don't go to the red hardly ever. You don't want it. It's almost like super glue on there. I'll go to the orange. The orange is a little bit stronger, but you can still break the orange fairly easily, in my opinion. This is the Permatex orange. I think this is like, I think it's like $13 as well for the 0.34 fluid ounces. This will last you a lifetime as well. And then if the orange isn't working, I go to this. This stuff works pretty good, but this is the Vibratite VC3 thread mate. This stuff is, I think, like $28, not in this little tube, but it comes in a little jar. I couldn't find this little tube right here. But what it is let's see if it shows your fasteners. It's made for high vibration areas. If you have bolts or something that, like a pump or something, that you're going to have a lot of vibration, and this won't work, because once this breaks, it's no longer effective. With the Vibratite, it puts like a rubber coating almost on it, so even if it does start to loosen, it's gonna have to like slowly go through that rubber as you go on. But the only problem with this is you have to let it set for like 30 minutes, I think it is. Yeah, allow to dry 10 to 30 minutes. So it takes a while, but it does work really good. I found whenever I have a pivot that keeps coming loose, you can use this, or you can also, if you have a thin rubber O-ring, you can use that underneath the pivot as well. All right, some odds and ends that I use from time to time. This right here, if I'm working on any Spydercos with lanyard tubes, this works right here for the PM2, Power 3, and Manix 2. It's basically it's the lanyard. This is the lanyard cube tube removal from Sharp Dress Knives. $28. This thing will keep you from losing it. Basically, all you do, unscrew this. It's aluminum, billet aluminum with a hard anodized coating on it. You slide this in between the tube and the scales and push this down, and it's going to separate the lanyard tube from the stainless steel scale that they have. Usually they have it flared open, so that's why you can't just pull it out. This thing is awesome. Sharp Dress Knives. I think they have them in stock right now. And then This is a chopstick. And as you can see, I have made it into a thin spot like this. And I use this when I have a knife that is off-centered. And what I do is I take this right here, jam it in here, loosen these two body screws, and push it to whatever side it is off-centered. See, it's pushing it all the way over there. Then you tighten these two, and that usually will fix your centering. And then pull this out, and your blade, you know, is usually centered. I use wood because it's not going to mar up your blade unless it's a soft steel or something like that. That is the Kaiser Mini Sheepdog in 10V. And after you get done with that, everything else, then you may want to strop your knives. My favorite strop that I own is this bad boy. This right here I got it from Mr. Steve Kluver. It was sold on my buddy OCD for EDC site. This thing is awesome. If you're into stropping a lot and you want a very nice one, this one is awesome. I don't know if he still sells them or not on there. I got sick when I was going to be doing this review. I got sick, and then we moved, and I feel so bad because I totally forgot. Mr. Steve Kluver's an awesome guy, and if he does still sell these, you definitely want to go check them out. They're not cheap, but they're solid stainless, so you have a perfectly flat surface. And then this right here is leather with a magnet behind it, so you put it on the thing, so you have a bench thing. And he also sells, you know, you can make different ones. He gives you that. You can also get a balsa wood underneath here, balsa wood strap, and then you have the leather, or you can make your own if you want. But this thing's awesome. I think they were like $85 if they're still on their site. And my go-to compound that I've been using is this stuff by Gunny Juice. It's a what is it? Polycrystalline. It's one of the. It's a diamond emulsion style or something like that. And you spray it on there, rub it in, and it works great. I have it in all kinds of different stuff there. It's called Gunny Juice. You can get this on Amazon too. That stuff works excellent. And then you could always make one. This is one I made out of some, I forgot what it is, put some pads on it. I saw it, they had one kind of like this on Amazon, so I kind of got the idea off of it. It's easy to make a strop, but the strop will make that edge last, you know, for almost ever, not almost ever, but can make it last so much longer, so you don't have to remove steel every time your knife is starting to get dull. I always hit my knives on a strop after I use them, and it prolongs them for a long time before you have to sharpen it. So there you go. If you have any questions about any of the stuff that I talked about today, please feel free to ask me down in the comments section. Let me know what you use. If you use anything that works better, I'd love to know, because I might pick it up. And I'm going to try to leave links to everything down below that is available. And I hope everybody's having an absolute wonderful day. I will see y'all on the next one. Peace.